Alright, so I'm just walking down the path of my trailer park with all of my supplies. I got a push broom, a house broom, a dustpan, a bag to put the gravel in, and also we have a slug in our bucket. He's coming with us. Alright, we're almost curbside, and as you can see, my warrior-like shadow gonna go take down the evil gravel. We're gonna be cleaning up. Eventually, I'm just gonna get to work, and it's good that it's this, here comes a cool guy, watch out. But essentially what we're gonna do here is, we're just gonna clean up, and it's good that it's not that horrible out here, but I'm sure once I get down to the middle of that area down there, it's very neglected. Always have a really hard time driving home when I come through that area, so I'm gonna focus on that. Alright, so I actually cleaned up. It took an hour to just clean. I think I'm just gonna show you what I did. And I said, let's do this, you know, to make it look good. And really what he's doing is no one's maintaining this other than maybe putting more rocks in. No one's maintaining it from the other side. There's all this gravel, this stuff right here, it's leaning. It shouldn't be leaning. If they're maintaining it well, then it wouldn't be leaning like that. But because they neglect it, what happens is that, of course, when they start filling it up more with gravel, because that solves the problem, right? It's just gonna fall over. To this, which I spent an hour sweeping, and I didn't just sweep it to the side. I swept up all the dirt and dust, and I accumulated it in this canvas bag, and I'm gonna just dump it out into this bucket so you can see actually how much dust, debris was gathered in just about maybe a 15 pace like space. So we'll do that. Alright, so there's the finished product, and from doing all this work, this is a 5-gallon bucket, and I have it about almost halfway full. So just imagine all of that sprawled all over the bike lane, and then trying your best to not only avoid you getting hit by traffic, using your signals, being aware, but also then having to go through a landfill of debris and trash. And all we need to do is, if everyone took their responsibility and kind of like maintained their sidewalks better, not just sweeping their debris onto the sidewalk, but then sweeping it up from the street, making sure the bike lane was clear. If everyone from there, I mean, I live in a trailer park where there are probably 100 people living in there, and just one person was able to clear off their section. And I won't stop there. I'll keep going until I hit lunchtime, which will be around 11 o'clock. They're creating a safety hazard by just filling up the gravel without maintaining the bricks or even the landscaping fabric here. It's coming up as well. So nature wants to come through. There's no stopping it, man. You can put down all the weed barriers you want, but nature's gonna have its way at the end of the day. So I just cleaned up my area in front of my trailer park. It's free of debris, and also what we're doing here is basically just taking responsibility, knowing that we all contribute to that, passing by, not maintaining your garden or whatever they call this, not maintaining it properly. So that took me about an hour. If my neighbors would have pitched in and helped, we could have this whole street, or at least from this block halfway down, we could have that whole area swept up. But I mean, it's just about how involved you want to be, and you know, how involved do you want to be in your own community? You live here, but you don't have any skin in the game. So start paying attention, because you might be inadvertently causing someone else a great deal of heartache and pain when you know you have a great space like this, but then you don't maintain it, gravel goes in the road, you call some poor guy who didn't need that trouble, a flat tire on their way to work or school, and that's really unnecessary. So anyways, I'm gonna get back to work. I have about 3 to 4 more hours before I have to start gardening, so let's get started and not waste any more time talking. Section 1, and that's right in front of a smoke shop. And I got the worst looks, but I don't really know why. You know, it's just kind of interesting to see people's reaction. Most of them were laughing. Maybe they think it's useless, or they think I'm doing community service. I don't know. Alright, so we're back home from a hard day's work, and I just wanted to add a couple of notes that maybe I missed in the video in the heat of the moment or something. So I wanted to explain why we put wood chips and gravel to cover lawns and grass areas, and that's essentially to save water, which is a great thing that we need to all be trying to do, is to save water wherever possible. And definitely wasting water to keep up with the Joneses and try to make our lawns look more beautiful or have our lawns be better than someone else's, it's just ego, and we need to get over ourselves. So put down the wood chips, put down the gravel, and those who do choose to still garden, they have safer practices or more environmentally sound practices, like they use raised beds. They have a drip irrigation system that puts the water right at the roots, so you're not just wasting water trying to get the water to seep down into the roots, especially when you have taller beds with a lot of soil to get down to the roots. So and they only water when necessary. They collect rainwater, or they use water diversion projects that turns their gray water into safe usable water to put on their garden or other projects like that, or to reuse in the home. So I'm all about that. Great deeds. I think my issue in this video was just covering that we need to be responsible. If you choose to let your lawn die and go brown, then you fill it up with wood chips or whatever. Just make sure that you are, you know, building a perimeter bed around where you're putting the wood chips, and making sure that you're making sure the front of your house or your apartment or wherever you live is free of those wood chips and free of any debris, because we don't want our neighbors to be late to school or work because they got a flat because we didn't clean up the glass that someone else spilled in front of our house. Just because we didn't do it doesn't mean it's not our responsibility. We need to come together and realize that. And so the next thing I want to say is that even in my own community, when I came back home, the manager of my trailer park gave him and his whole family were staring at me like I was a crazy person. Then I realized, well, they're a new manager and they didn't know who I was. So if you're ever curious about what someone's doing, and especially because I was wearing a safety vest and carrying these big tools around, the brooms and stuff, I may have looked like a wanderer or something through the park. But if you ever have a question about what someone's doing, why don't you just say hello? Isn't that one of the #1 anti-theft and anti-loss control, or loss control tactics, is to say how someone's doing when they walk into the store? Just say, hi, how are you? Like, how are you doing? Like, what's the 411 in the, area code? Like, what's going on? And that cuts down on a lot of people wandering through your area, and it's also friendly and respectful for people who do belong there. Just to say, hey, how's it going? Or what are you up to? Or wow, do you have a project going on or something? Instead of just looking at them like they are mentally insane or like they have some kind of disability or something. It's like, no, I just spent the last 4 hours cleaning the street for you guys and for our whole community, and you're gonna look down on me now? Not cool, bro. So definitely I say for shame to the manager of my trailer park for him and his family looking down on me and doing that thing. And if you're going to apologize, because I did call them afterwards and say, hi, I was the bag woman looking person walking down the street with a safety vest looking pretty creepy. I just wanted to explain that I live here. I've been living here for over a year, no problems. And I was just cleaning up the bike lane. And then he said, well, next time let someone know. And I said, well, I don't think I need to inform my manager of my trailer park when I'm going to go and do community service to clean up a public street. But thanks. You know, I was really offended, and I it hurt my feelings on a personal level, because it's already kind of awkward for me to do those kinds of things, and I'm trying to get over my own ego, and with other people looking down on me for doing certain things that are to help the environment, to help our fellow neighbors, it doesn't make it any easier. And always change starts with one letter to a congressman, one letter to a senator, one person who's going to go take responsibility for something, you know. So I just think that it's just about time that we just stop looking down on each other and just say, how are you doing? If they would have asked how I was doing, I would have stopped and gave them my whole story, and they probably would have been like, awesome, cool, instead of this pushback that I got when I informed them of who I was, which the pushback was essentially him saying, you should have let someone know, or I'm sorry if you perceived that we were looking down on you, and that's not an apology. So I didn't perceive that you're looking down on me. Like, I saw that your faces, like evidence, empirical evidence, your faces, the looks that you gave me, the feelings I felt as a result of the horrible faces you were making at me. So, you know, just be aware when people are trying to do something nice. And if you're unsure of what they're doing, ask. Simple as that. I'm going to wrap this up. It's getting kind of long, but I really wanted to wrap that up and, you know, kind of rant about it a little bit because it bothered me. And, you know, it's not going to stop me from doing what I do. I'm going to take it, run with it, and say, whatever. I ride my bike. I want it to be clean. You're welcome. Like, get over it. So, with that being said, I'm just going to let this go.